Alright, what is going on, guys? Got a breakdown for UFC Vegas 68, I believe it is. Spivak versus Lewis. This is 2 weeks from now, but the road to UFC finals are on this card, so winner gets a contract. And yeah, a lot on the line in this one, because for Jeka Saragih, he would be the first Indonesian fighter to get a UFC contract, and for Anshul Jubilee, he would be just the second Indian fighter and the first guy. I can't remember his name, but he fought Song Yadong, and then I think he popped for some type of performance enhancer. Hasn't been seen since. So India's probably looking for a hard reset. Hopefully, Anshul Jubilee can be their first guy. But yeah, these guys are even on reach. Jubilee's gonna be 2 inches taller, so I suppose I'll start with him. 7-0. Most of his fights were on the Indian regional scene to this point, but as you can see, not a lot of established records there. It just kind of speaks for itself. The MMA scene still developing in India, but looked good doing it. Primarily leaned on his grappling in a lot of these fights that I've seen, and I watched just about all of them. They're mostly on YouTube, so you can go check them out. But yeah, he has one arm triangle choke on his record and one knockout, and he just about had Kimura in that fight against Sakar. He was about to tap, had his hand ready to tap, but then he didn't, and he ends up getting the decision there. Pretty comfortable decision, controlled him on the ground for much of the fight. But against Kyung Kim in his road to UFC matchup, didn't have to fight in the opening round of the tournament because his opponent missed weight, so I guess he just moves on in that one. But yeah, it was a big test for him, to really see what we got in this guy because just again the records of his opponents not very established, and against Kyung Kim looked pretty good. I thought the movement was really good. He was very light on his feet, in and out. Head movement looked pretty good. At least the way he reacts to shots, I think he kind of leaves himself there to get hit, and that was evident by the fact that Kyung Kim was finding these hooks a fair amount. But he showed that he can take a punch, took some clean shots, and I really liked the way he was mixing up his striking, was going to the body a lot early on. And he did get tired in the third round, but Kim was also tired. Went to a couple takedowns, Kim did, but Jubilee popped back up. So it's hard for me to get a read watching this guy's fight tape, like what he likes to do. Because in these Matrix fights, he goes to the ground a lot. But in the road to UFC, he seemed like he didn't want to wrestle with this guy, was just keeping it on the feet. So from what I've seen, pretty well rounded. I liked what I saw. Even though he was tired in the third round, he was still landing some meaningful offense. Kim cracked him with some good shots, and he handled it very well. So, these are all things that were good to see. But the thing with Jubilee is just very green. He's 6-0, but we just don't know. Like the level of competition isn't there. But I like what I've seen. And I am excited for this matchup. It's very evenly matched. But for Jeka Saragih, a little bit more competition. He has gone 5 rounds a few times in his career. Fought a lot with One Pride MMA, which is in Indonesia. And a lot of those fights are on YouTube, too. The last time he lost against Anga Hans, I assume that's how you say it, he did lose that one. And that one has 2.5 million views on YouTube. But really, really fun fight. Back and forth. Really fun grappling fight. And Hans was taking him down. Watching the fight tape on Saragih, he seems to struggle with grapplers who are better than him. It's not that he doesn't have any grappling. Sometimes he goes to it himself. He has good ground and pound too, but mostly it's on the feet with this guy. But yeah, Hans would take him down, and he took him down a lot. Like I will say that, it took him down like 6 or 7 times at least, but. He had a lot of crazy reversals. He landed a lot of impactful shots on the feet. He's got a lot of power in his right hand, Saragih does. But, yeah, really back and forth fight there. And it just kind of seemed like Saragih probably would have been better off disengaging with this guy. He got caught in a triangle at the end of the first round, but then he got saved by the bell, and then he eventually got choked out in the fourth round. Again, though, did have some good moments, some good reversals, some good get-ups, landed some heavy ground and pound at a couple moments, but yeah, he probably just would have been better off just not engaging with that guy. But a lot of knockouts since then, 2 outside of the competition, and both of his matchups going into this fight, he won by knockout against Pawan Man, another Indian fighter, 36 years old. He had no problems in that one. Really touched him up. And then finished it with a spinning back fist in the third round. Got a lot of impactful ground and pound in that one. Showed his top game too. So like I said, this guy seems to like to strike, but he's not afraid to go to the ground. And again, he has been exploited on the ground at times, but against fighters that seem to be pretty well versed. But against Wan Bin Ki, he was an underdog in that one. He just looked great, putting together really extended combinations, throwing these body kicks with a lot of intent, giving up size in that one. And again, that right hand, he found it a few times, really stepping into it. And beautiful knockout late in the first round when he found that straight right. It was kind of in close, but got full extension on it and just put him out cold. Really, really, really a lot of power with this guy, for sure, when he lands with that right. But, I did say with Jubli, lack of competition was kind of one of the things that I mentioned. With Saragih, it's kind of the same. It's just he has more fights. You look at a lot of these records, like 3-1, 2-1, 4-1. They're actually better records than some of the guys Jubli fought, but it's the same deal with both of these guys. They've crushed a lot of these cans, and it's just not a lot of higher level of competition. And for Saragih, when he did fight that guy Hans, he did lose, but he showed a lot, and that was a few fights ago. But I really like what I've seen from this guy in his last couple bouts. So for this one, it is about even, opened as a pick on -110. Jubli expanding is a little bit of a favorite at -120. And I'm going to take a stab at Saragih. I'm not betting a lot on this card. I never like to bet a whole lot on the Contender Series card and whatnot, which I consider this, it is, it's the same deal. But you just don't love this card for betting, just in general, even with the established fighters. But yeah, I like what I've seen from Saragih. And I think it just comes down to both of these guys are a little bit green, but I just think Saragih has had more experience and fought just a little bit better competition. And I think that that's going to show in this one. But again, it's really tough to call. Like I said, I just can't really get a read on what Jubli likes to do. So if if they identify that Saragih has issues with grappling, maybe they're going to go that route. But it's hard for me to also get a read on how good Jubli's grappling is because of the level of competition he was implementing it against. But that would seem to be the best path for him because his striking is crisp, but Saragih has a lot of power, and I've seen Jubli can be hittable. He does a good job of reading shots and getting out of the way, but Saragih really hides that power right very well. So I think he is going to find that shot, and I would say by knockout. We'll see what we get for props. I'm probably going to take a stab at that, but yeah, I did put half a unit on it outright. Gotta enter that in on Bet Tip. Probably gonna do that right after I upload this. But yeah, coin toss fight. I just like what I've seen from Saragih a little bit more experience for him too. But it could really go either way, man. This is not a card where I would be looking to lay chalk at all. But thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe and take it easy.